All right, boys. Welcome back to the next episode of Podium Talk. Today we had on Bryce Hale, president of Classic City Powerlifting, UGA's Barbell Club. This is our first guest in our Cnats series. Leading up to that, we're trying to bring on anyone who is competing to come on, talk about themselves, really get to know them before they go out there and compete on the big stage. Bryce was a wonderful guest. Nice, easy pod to do. Hope you enjoy it. Welcome to Podium Talk. Sounds good. Sounds good. Welcome back to the next episode. Very special episode. We have another president on. We just had Matt on. So now we have Bryce Hale, president of Classic City from UGA. Introduce yourself, Bryce.
Hey, I'm Bryce Hale. Like Eli said, I'm the president of the UGA powerlifting team. I'm a junior in civil engineering, and I'm originally from Fayetteville, Georgia.
Very nice. And like Bryce is like top three nicest guys in the state, if I'm being honest. Like it's ridiculous. And also the strongest too. But like every episode, how's our training going? Tony, you can start it. How's training been since we recorded 4 days ago?
Yeah, I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. Since I guess 4 days ago, things are picking up pretty good, I guess. I mean, things hurt a lot less, so that's always a good sign. So, I think I'm headed in the right direction. I don't know. I'm feeling good. What about you,
What about
Eli?
you? Oh, you want to go to me? Um, we had a very successful block, which is always like gets in my head because I know when things are going good, things are about to start going bad. But we got the fours out of the way. Now we get to kind of try to roll into something special. Hit all PRs, that's what it's about, but high reps, see if it translates. What about you, Bryce?
Honestly, just had a really trash block. Missed a lot of my top sets on my final week, but since I've been back the past few days, I've been having some pretty good training days going in my next block. Hoping I can hit some good fours by the end of it.
So I mean, for me, for the holidays, like missing those Mondays and having to push to Tuesdays, and
Yeah.
oh, dude, it screwed my block at the beginning. I don't know how I pulled it out, but I guess before we get into anything, let's just talk about the collegiate meet and 800 kg and having an insane day and really, taking over the 110 class because you're really number one in the junior
Oh,
110.
okay.
But I mean, Ricky Bobby's there, but I'm pretty sure he's
Yeah.
out of it now. But you're number one in my head. You're the top, Noah, and I'm like 80th, but we're getting there.
80th.
80th. But just, I mean,
All right.
let's just walk through that meet, like how you felt. You can just say squat, bench, and deadlift. This is what we wanted. This is what we got. We're a little bit
Um,
late on recapping, but
yeah. So originally going into meet, I wanted like 573 on squat. The only thing I'd hit in training, well, leading into my last week, I hit 562, and then I hit 584 on my last week of my peak. So then that kind of adjusted my numbers that I wanted to hit. So yeah, I went in, hit my openers, felt really easy. Second attempt felt really easy, and honestly went pretty conservative on my last attempt. But yeah, I got the 600 for the first time. Feels really good. Wish I would have loaded 5 reds instead, but it'll be there eventually. And for bench, always seems to be the one that I enjoy the most. It always shows up on meet day. Thankfully, I had fixed a problem in my elbows. In previous meets, I had been having soft elbows, and it would kind of mess with my start command. And getting a lift off kind of helped in allowing me to stay like fully stacked and fully extended. And so finally got the 200 kg. Honestly, came out of nowhere. The second to last week, I hit 425 of my peak, and it felt like it was about all I had. And then going to last week at Fit Statesboro, I hit 440. Definitely wanted to put it on the platform after that. I thought at first it was just a fat pad, but thankfully pulled it out. And then deadlift, I mean, I really wanted 7, and I pulled what I needed to get 800 kilos. I could have had maybe 2.5 more, but I mean, it all came together, honestly.
Yeah, so me and Tony were on the mic. Obviously, the showdown between everyone there was insane that day. For a Sunday meet, probably one of the biggest meets of the year in terms of competition for Georgia. Because you, Grayson, Hembry, and how close that was, but
Yeah. No,
kind of sad.
I remember, yeah, that was a big thing I remember because you pulled last,
Yeah.
but like I feel like there wasn't that sense of like because I feel like there were a couple of, like lifts at that meet that were like really like there's a lot of tension.
Uh-huh.
Like for example, Matt trying to pull a 595. I felt like that one like everybody was on their feet because he was trying to get his QT. And
Yeah.
then obviously Grayson, pulling to get into the lead, I believe.
Yeah.
And then you were pulling for 800, like you said, but it wasn't. But you were pulling last, so you could have like pulled for the win.
Yeah. Me and
Yeah,
Jads were
I was just
honestly.
like wondering, was there like any conflict picking 800 or the win?
So yeah, she told me what I needed to load. I think it was like 335 or something, like out of reach. So then I just told her I wanted to load 800 to finally get that, because it was like the 3 dots points was kind of a lot in between me and Grayson because of just weight, body weight, and everything. So then we
Oh.
just decided to go with the lower weight and actually get the total that I wanted.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was wondering because it was like 3 dots points. So I was like,
Yeah.
there's no way like he can't like add another 5 keys and like because
Yeah.
that's what I thought it would have took like 5 keys. But
Mhm.
if it was 335, yeah, that's a huge number. So,
Yeah, for
um,
sure.
but now no matter what, it was a sick. That was like one of uh the coolest lifts for sure. It was the biggest deadlift. And the music and the vibe and everybody was you had
Yeah.
like all your people and shit there. So
Right.
yeah, nah. No matter what, it was still like a really hard, like a dope pull. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm glad I loaded something I could actually pull and actually get the last deadlift. Feels really good, honestly.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, definitely wanted to mention that meet before we got into like being the president and how you lift, just to give you the credentials of like
Yeah.
this dude's up there. So let's talk about president.
Mm-hmm.
How like one, how'd you get into that slot? And let's just say, what has Classic City done for you? What have you done for Classic City? Like how has it affected your life?
Okay, so yeah, in between my freshman and sophomore year, well, I'll take it back. My freshman year, I was a part of what was then called UGA Club Powerlifting. So, and I was just a member. There weren't many events like socially. And so as we went into the summer, I hadn't heard anything back like about what the next year would be like or anything like that. So then I had reached out to the previous, I guess, vice president at that time and checked to see if anybody was planning on running it for the next year. And basically nobody was interested. So I kind of stepped up and got that position. You know, I didn't really know what I was doing originally. It took a lot of just trial and error to figure things out. Um, so yeah, since then we've grown a lot. Honestly, we host a lot more events and we have a lot more meetings discussing just the whole sport in itself and going into meets like where we have a bunch of people lifting. But for me, it's given me a sense of leadership, honestly. Haven't had any position like that before. So to have that um, has honestly benefited me a lot, made me a lot more able to be, I guess, a leader. And I mean, that's about it.
I got you. I got you. Does it affect like I don't really know what y'all do. Do y'all have like meetups often and like meetings all the time?
So yeah, we have one meeting a month right now, and then we have themed lifts every other week or on Fridays. So it'll be like, I don't know, we've done Hawaiian, we've done neon, we did white lies. Kind of got the idea from Kennesaw Barbell, but we don't talk about that.
They got it from you, but just from the past. They knew
Uh,
y'all were gonna do it, and then they
yeah,
took it. Yeah,
yeah, that's exactly what that is.
for sure, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
But then, so you're coached by Jazzy.
Yep.
How'd you get her? Or like, what led you to her? Was it Gerald? Was it
Yeah, so
connections?
what we talked about originally or before this started, so yeah, Gerald Scott went to my high school a few years before I had been there. And then once he had come to my weightlifting class one time and kind of introduced me to the sport, I had been training under him for about a month. And then basically he handed me off to Jazz, and that was about 2.5 years ago at this point. So yeah, I've been with her a while now, and it's been some ups and downs, but been very good for my training. And it's good to have a consistent coach and having like someone who knows you as a lifter be able to like plan out how we're going to do things.
For sure, for sure, for sure. And did she coach your brother too?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
you came in to the team about 6 months after I got on.
Mm,
But
I got
So,
you.
so I noticed, yeah, a lot of people are coached on your like on Classic City are coached by Jazzy, it seems like. How does that do y'all have some sort of agreement or did it just happen like, oh, who's your coach? And then like everybody kind of just did it.
yes, so there was like two or three of us whenever I became president who were under Jazz. I guess just word spread a little bit, and everybody reached out to her. And but also my first year being the president, she had been doing some like Excel coaching for some people at like a discounted rate, but that's about all the agreement that we have with her. It's just basically word of mouth and seeing who wanted to be coached by her before she filled up.
All right, I was just curious
Yeah,
because
for
I noticed a
sure.
lot of y'all are coached by her. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I watch her training and I see that she does things a little different than what Avery normally does, but
Yeah.
you don't look too like I've seen a lot of strange things out of other people. I'm not gonna like
Yeah.
call people out, but I think we and you have talked about that before. But in the gym, I don't think I've seen you had a like a week 4 or any really hard day so far, but like what's your mindset when you go into the gym? Like you go to DNA, you see some of these lifters like Kyle's zoned in, Noah when he has a hard day, he's zoned in. Matt talked about it, how he's trying to switch to being more zoned in and not just having a good time. I've really only been around you post meet training, which
Hmm.
that's obviously you're kind of relaxed, just getting back
Hmm.
into it. What do you think what would you say your mindset is like when you hit those heavy days?
Mm, I like to lift by myself a lot. So getting in there and being like, zoned in a way is kind of how I approach it. I don't know, I'm blasting music in my ear, but I'm also trying to stay relaxed and not overexert myself. But just being in there, getting myself, in the zone mentally, but also not trying to, be too outrageous and, slamming the weights after every pull or whatever lift. I guess that would be my approach. I don't have anything specific that I, either say to myself or do before my workouts that kind of gets me there.
Yeah. What do you listen to in the gym? I'm like creating a list of questions because this is our first Cnats preview
Yeah.
podcast, I would say. Like leading up to Cnats, we're trying to get a bunch of people on, get their takes. So what do you listen to in the gym?
I don't know. It changes a lot. I feel like primarily on my big lifts, I'll listen to rap. Um, Anything fast and loud is what I like.
Mm,
But just like on a regular training day, I like rock. I listen to Creed a good bit. And for me, I kind of just replay the same songs over and over again, whatever is like in my recently played on Apple Music. But it's nothing specific. I'll listen
I
to slow
got you.
stuff like in my accessories and stuff too, but
No
it
slow
varies
stuff
a
on your
lot.
top sets though?
Huh?
No slow stuff on the top?
No, no, absolutely not. Maybe when I'm just like not wanting to be in the gym, I'll just like turn on country music or something, but
Hmm.
that's about it. Yeah.
That's valid.
Phew.
So
Yeah.
let's transition into looking to CNATs. So
Yeah.
obviously we've talked, you've had big goals. You don't have to share everything that we might have said, but going into CNATs, what are you like looking forward to for you and for all of Classic City, obviously?
Well, for Classic City, I'm just hoping that we can have fill up our whole roster, all 24. It may not be at that number, but at least 20 is what I'm looking forward to. And honestly, just seeing as many people podium or get top 10 as possible. But for me personally, I'm hoping that I can podium, get into the 820, 830 range for my total. And honestly, just trying to go out there and enjoy it because powerlifting hasn't really been enjoyable for me recently. So just trying to go through a prep, be healthy, enjoy it and not get hurt is the biggest thing for me.
Can you elaborate why it hasn't been enjoyable for you?
Um, I've had a lot of outside like family stress going on recently, so that's been causing like a downfall and like bleeding into my training sessions. But that and just post meet blues, I get it pretty bad. Like I don't, the high volume stuff does not interest me as much as like going in there and hitting singles. So, and also my body just feels different in the off season, like rather than going into like, my peaking block, like everything just kind of hurts. Everything feels heavy. So
Yeah.
that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah. I mean, I guess like spinning back to what Eli mentioned earlier about like mindset in the gym and stuff, like what would you say through these like, you know, times that you're struggling and stuff and yeah, you said your off season you feel like you have the blues and things hurt more and are heavier. What do you think like kind of keeps your head on straight and keeps you like focused and has gotten you this far? Because obviously we're not always in prep mode and always like
Yeah.
good to go. So what do you think has kept you
I
essentially
think,
going to get to this point?
yeah, I feel like at this point, it's like a habit. Like I want to go at least be in there. It kind of like relieves some of the stress that I deal with on the day to day. Kind of lets me get things out that I need to. But I mean, I take it one day at a time. I don't try to force anything when I don't have it. So yeah, that's about all I got.
Yeah. I just feel like that's like a huge problem like in the sport. I feel like everybody kind of I mean everybody like has what you mentioned, like every it gets hard for everybody. But I feel like a lot of people kind of are like really quick to either like just start to kind of half-ass and like give up on themselves or just
Yeah,
straight up like leave the sport and completely just abandon it and not even really see what their full potential is. So I feel like that is always like it's always nice when we have somebody that's totaling 800 keys. It's nice to know like damn, how'd you get so far? Because yeah, I know like I know injuries pop up. I
yeah,
know, yeah, family stuff, everything like that. There's a lot of reasons why. Like,
yeah,
Call of
yeah.
Duty
No,
comes out. Tony
chill.
Tony has one guy in his mind right now. We're not going
I
to say his
actually, dude,
name.
I have like there's like 30 people in my mind, bro. Not even.
Yeah.
I actually didn't even think about him. He's never gonna listen to this, but yeah. Anyways, let's move on.
Yeah, whatever.
About him.
All right. So you said obviously podium of the 110s at Cnats is going to be 820 to 830. How do you see that splitting up between your squat, your bench, and your deadlift? Like if
mm,
you had ideal, you don't got to like send them to the roof. You don't have to hit
yeah.
that number, but like ranges.
Well, I
You
mean,
don't
I'm
got you
thinking
don't got
around.
to if you don't want to.
Yeah, no, I got it. It's about 285 squat, whatever that is, 628.
628. Yeah.
Yeah, and
No,
then
you're
probably
squatting
like
300. You're squatting 300. CNATs,
we'll see
April. Come
about
on.
that. Probably 205 to 210, hopefully on bench, and at a big day, I would hope I could get 340. That puts me
Mhm.
right at 830. So yeah, that's probably about where I'd be looking at.
That's nice.
I mean,
Damn, those are like some like
I'm not saying all that's going to happen because I know like training doesn't go linearly. But if I did go on there and hit that, that's probably where I'd be at.
I feel
no,
you.
I definitely think those are like extremely like my goals are not like that. My goals are like a lot more like silly, but I think those are like really like attainable. Like Eli said, like I feel like if anything, you could probably try to. Yeah, I could definitely see probably over 285 for you. I mean that 600 was easy. So
Yeah.
as long as you're confident in your body and you don't feel like you're hurt or anything, I mean I'd imagine you could squat more than that. And
Yeah.
that deadlift, yeah, that'd be a dope deadlift to see. The 749.
Yeah.
Conventional.
Yeah, let everybody know it's conventional. Yeah,
Have you
I
ever
guess
tried
to start
sumo?
first.
Oh, he froze.
Oh, he
What was
froze.
that?
Have you ever
Can you
went
hear me
into
now?
sumo? Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. You have ever won into sumo?
Yeah.
I've tried it. I Whenever I first got into powerlifting, it was like what I didn't start with it, but Jazz kind of pushed me in that direction when I first started.
Mhm.
And honestly, it was causing a lot of knee flare-ups and back flare-ups, which sounds weird, but when I switched back over to conventional, like all that went away. And honestly, I've gone back and tried it a few other times. It seemed like it was helping my squat and deadlift a little bit, but for now, I don't think I have the movement pattern or the mobility or any of that to make an official switch over.
Yeah, I mean, I feel you. Watching your conventional, it looks like you found what works best for your leverages and your body type. It looks very efficient. It's just, how do you pick it up? How do you pick up that much weight like that? I just don't like.
It's like
It's just
all on the bag, dude. Ah, that's
like just
crazy.
watching like 600 pounds move effortlessly. Like conventional is insane to me. From a guy who's like 6 months younger than me, same body weight, and dude, feel like you could row that. But how do you
I
feel
mean, I
like
got a question. So,
go
oh,
for it? You got it.
uh, I was just gonna say, so Bryce, going into Cnats, I think we're like 16 weeks or so, like four
Something like
months.
yeah.
So going into CNETs, this is about the time I feel like you're probably like trying to plan kind of how things are gonna fall out. Like, I feel like you're not in prep, but like,
Yeah.
yeah, like it's starting to come up, right? So what are some things that you want to try to, maybe going into this prep, like try to implement that you maybe haven't in the past? Maybe something that you want to like improve on. Like it could
Mhm.
be, yeah, something like as far as like your confidence, your mental, your nutrition, your sleep, your
Yeah.
I have anything like anything you'd like to improve on.
I'd say probably my sleep and my water intake. My sleep last semester, honestly, has been really bad. Like I had all 8 a.m. So I was getting up at 6, but I'd still be going to bed at like 12, 1 o'clock, depending on what I had to do. And I know that that is very much a time management thing that I had going on. But going into this, I have some later classes, so I'm able to get some better rest and honestly just tracking my water, see if I can maybe that hydration might lead into some better sessions going forward.
Yeah, I just always like to think about like what it is like when I'm far, far out from a meet, like what I could do to like now to like yeah, build these habits like you mentioned earlier, like build good habits. So that way I'm not like 2 weeks out, like, oh, it's too late now. Like it's
Yeah.
late to try to get your nutrition right. It's too late to get your because now you've already had all these bad blocks because of your bad sleep or your bad whatever it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. That's just something. Yeah, I feel like I'm trying to like get good information out. I don't know, just kind of like because I feel like I said, bro, a lot of people in the sport don't really like. I feel like really probably know, I guess, how much these little things, kind of add up and matter.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Because I feel like my body can feel so different from day to day. Like if I have a long weekend, I'm going out or something, how different my body can feel. And like a next week later, if I'm drinking my water right and I'm getting to sleep on the right time, like like I can jump up like 40 pounds on some lifts. Like it doesn't make sense, but it's just something we have to take into consideration.
yeah, Eli, you taking notes, bro? I know you don't sleep.
Man, I sleep. I just don't need sleep, you know? I'm that guy.
Oh yeah.
As long as I'm getting 6.5, I'm good. Six and
All
a
right,
half and
David
two
Goggins.
ghosts a day. That's all you need. And the ice
Yeah,
bath in the morning, we're good. We're good.
the
How's that
good
been
to
treating
go.
you?
If people have been asking me, does it doing anything? Is it working? I don't know. I feel good.
Yeah.
And for now, it's working. I don't know. It hasn't hurt.
Do you notice like an energy boost like right when you get out? And like how
I
long does it last?
So there's two things I've noticed. So I like to do them in the mornings before I go to work. I've noticed I don't need caffeine in the morning anymore. I'm kind of awake, I'm productive. I'm cold until 12. If I don't get in the shower immediately and like warm up, I'm cold like under like in my boots, my feet are cold until 12. No matter what, because it's also cold outside. So
Yeah.
that's a downside, but I'm awake.
Yeah.
There's that. I was having knee problems right around Christmas in my right knee, and that's kind of gone away. I don't know if that's much to do with that or just me focusing on rehabbing that, but
Um,
so far so good. But
Nah, man.
so go ahead, Tone.
No, I mean, I like thought we were about to have another pause, so I was about to. If you have a question, go ahead.
So like you talked about tracking your water, and obviously you just came from 100 to 110. Through that, did you track your macros, your food like strictly to get up there, or did you kind of just send it?
so I've been really bad about tracking my food recently. For a long time there, I was like every day I would be weighing out my food, I would be planning it all out. But recently I don't know, I've just gotten in a bad habit of not doing it. So then I was just intuitively eating my way up to 110. And yeah, I mean, I didn't even get all the way up there. I got about 107 at my peak, and now I'm back down to like 105. So
Hmm.
I need to be better about that. It's on my New Year's resolution.
I was hoping you'd be an inspiration to because Avery doesn't track or he just started tracking. Tony intuitively eats, but he's good with it because I don't know. Every time we're on the pod, he's eating some sort of something with rice.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I've always been a track. Like I tracked everything because like my high school football coach was like really hard on it.
Yeah.
So like if we didn't track it, we had to run laps at practice if like the whole team didn't track it. So you didn't want to be that guy. But I don't know. That's kind of always just put that fear in me of, oh crap, I got to get this in, or at least got to fake it in.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm still not lean. I still got to figure that. I still got to eat better. But so you said beginning of the pod, 3 years you've been training, two and a
Mhm.
half with Jazzy. You know that first half with Gerald. How do you feel like your powerlifting journey has gone? Like I feel 3 years to be where you are. That's pretty solid to be. You know,
Yeah.
800 kg top in the state. How do you feel like this journey has treated you?
I don't know. I feel like the first year was a lot of just figuring things out, like figuring out what technique would work best for me. Just getting a good baseline because I came from like a weightlifting background for sports. So I would do that off and on throughout the years of like high school and middle school sports. But going into that first year is just a lot of, figuring things out, like what an RPE looks like, or like how I need to ramp up my weights going from week to week. And then since then, it's just been kind of building like body mass in general. Just getting more muscle on me has been very beneficial in boosting my lifts, honestly, especially squat and bench. Like I feel like the more I eat, it's like linear, that goes straight up. But um, I feel like now it kind of needs to get a little more specialized in how I approach my training and like how specific I need to be with, my food and my water and all that, all the external factors that bleed into it.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So
I get what you mean. I was just gonna
you got
say,
it.
yeah, no, sure. When I went up a weight class, man, like it was like I didn't even have to try with the squat and with the bench for some. And I suck at benching. Like I'm not like a bencher, but I was like, damn, like
Yeah.
I'm actually getting kind of good at benching now. So yeah, no, the muscle it's like key for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So typically when you gain that weight, people see differences in their deadlift. Like some people will still be able to add mass to their deadlift. Some people's leverages get screwed up. I'd assume yours is kind of just steadily kind of
No,
been steady.
no, I mean, from meet to meet, probably, I would say that. But during my off seasons, I notice a lot where I need to like either change my foot or my feet position or widen my hands out a little bit because like sometimes it'll just feel off and I don't feel like I'm able to pull what I used to be or how I used to. I feel like the bigger I get, the more I have to widen my hands out because I've been tearing my thumb so bad and it's making me like drop weights that I shouldn't. So yeah, I definitely see the argument where the bigger you get, the harder it is to deadlift.
No, I mean, I was more so, this is great, but I do kind of want to pick your mind a little bit more about like, I guess like since you are like president of a collegiate powerlifting team or whatever, let's talk about more like, do you have any like maybe thoughts about like the collegiate scene in Georgia right now? Since we are having Cnats, like the Super Bowl of the collegiate meets literally in Atlanta. So it's like,
Yeah.
how do you think Cnats coming? Because I definitely noticed once Cnats was announced in Atlanta, like I feel like everything in the collegiate like scene of powerlifting kind of like amplified and like changed.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
did you like notice anything maybe internally, domestically in your team, or maybe, out like outside of it even?
Mhm. I would say throughout the whole Georgia collegiate powerlifting, I feel like the teams are doing a lot more on like marketing their club and like getting people interested in the sport. I feel like the sport keeps growing on its own naturally, but the more that people are putting into social media pages and putting the word out on campuses, I feel like the sport just keeps growing and more people are interested in going into those CNATs, making it more competitive. Is the biggest thing that I've seen.
Yeah,
I feel like
man.
the level of lifter just keeps going up and up, and like the competition just gets harder and harder.
Oh yeah. Nah, for sure. It's dope. Everybody keeps popping out. Like I feel like at least like once a month,
Yeah,
one of these little like school team like pages are like reposting somebody and it's like, oh, like
yeah,
Mhm.
who's that?
yeah. It's like
So
the 75 kg at Georgia Tech, Ivan Liu. Like he just came out of nowhere. Like hadn't seen him on social media at all, and then going into the Georgia Collegiate Championship, like he just went off. It's
yeah.
just like somebody new every day, and they get younger.
Nah, man, and that kid is still getting stronger. I saw
Mhm.
him bench today, and he like outdid my bench. He did like 295 for four, and I did 292 for four. So I was like, nah, that's not okay. I was like, yeah, that's not okay at all. So that guy is different. He's good.
Yeah,
For sure.
Whatever. I mean, that's good for the sport though. Like
yeah,
you
for
want that
sure.
competition for sure. Yeah.
I feel like it just internally motivates everybody a little bit more whenever they see these younger guys hitting some big weights. It's just like,
Mhm.
oh, if they can do it, like, why can't I? You know, one of those things.
Nah, for sure. Everybody gets better. I mean, I feel like us as a state, like we're elevating at least at the junior level, junior collegiate level, it's elevating so rapidly just because of like you said, how many people are getting into the sport and now the talent pool is just widening. So in I don't know if you follow like USAPL like on Instagram or whatever, they like will repost like another state's top 10 lifters
Uh-huh.
or whatever. And some of those, top tens are like crazy because they have literally like Alexis Jones or SSJ Bob, whatever in it.
Yeah.
But if you look at the top 10 average compared to the top 10 average in Georgia, I
Mm.
went out of my way to look at it because Georgia didn't post. I don't know why they didn't make a post like that. I think that'd be pretty sick if they had made one. But if you look at the top 10 average in Georgia, everybody has a 500 plus in Georgia in the top 10. Like I have a 484 and I'm 17. So I feel like Georgia is just like going crazy right now. And like,
Yeah.
yeah, when Raw Nats and stuff like that comes around, like I feel like a lot of names are gonna start getting dropped in conversations outside of the state. So
Yeah, definitely. I feel like Georgia has been kind of a hot spot this year for people coming in and becoming like top lifters in the nation. It just keeps growing, honestly.
I feel like a big part of that is these new gyms that are popping up in Atlanta with DNA, Trueborn, giving
Yeah.
more of a spotlight to these. Or even like in the untested side, you have what the strength compound came in this year.
hmm
They're just kind of getting more exposure, and then we're over here in Athens at
Yeah.
Ramsey
Wishing
Athens
for a
Health
gym.
Crunch.
Yeah.
can't find nothing,
I know.
I would
Some
say
reason
that
why,
DNA is definitely a good mixture of like tested and untested because there are some dudes in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw somebody pop up on my explore page like pulling 838 or something the other day, and I was like, I've never even seen this guy, and he's at
Nah,
DNA. So
I literally was in there when he was doing that shit, and like I was with Noah, and he had like a bunch of reds and a blue, and then I was like talking to Noah, I was like, "Oh yeah, he's about to pull 694 or whatever." Like I tried pulling that at Nationals, like I almost got it, whatever. And then I looked closer, and it was like 6 reds and a blue, so it was like 800, like even, I think.
yeah,
And then he hit it, and it was a warm up, and then he went up to like 848, and then doubled it, and I
dude,
was
that's
like, wow,
insanity. I don't get it.
yeah, yeah. I literally in my face, I was like, okay, I guess average guys like just come to the gym and do that now. But hey,
Yeah,
it's fun. It's cool to see.
yeah, definitely. Especially like when Jamal was in there the other day, pulling some crazy weight.
And now the platform is all dented. I
Huh?
swear, I think I was on the same platform and it's dented
Oh
and
yeah.
the bars
That's what it
rolling.
was like at Marietta Barbell since he trained there for so long. Just
Yeah.
all the platforms were just demolished.
I think they still are.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I haven't been in there in a while.
The ones in
Yeah.
DNA aren't too bad though.
Yeah.
No, I
The
think
ones
it's
at
just that
UGA
one.
are, I'll tell you that for sure.
They don't even let you use them. They get
Huh?
mad at you if you're not using kilos. They tell you
Yeah.
you can't use them. Or you got to
Yeah,
use bumpers, and
yeah, which is ridiculous.
it's annoying.
They give y'all
Uh,
trouble when Ramsey with deadlifting.
yeah, basically a new rule that they put in at the beginning of this school year is you could use the kilo plates on the platform or you could only use buffer plates. And the buffer plates are like a lot thicker. So like really if, I wanted to load something on my, some of my last weeks, I wouldn't be able to put it on there unless I had kilos. So
Yeah. And there's only enough kilos for really one. Not even you, honestly, because you got to probably go to a blue at the end because there's what 11 reds.
yeah.
So if somebody's
Yeah.
squatting with them and you want to pull, you're kind of screwed.
hmm
You got to wait them out.
Yeah, that's the
But
biggest thing.
it's
Just
cool
the
that they
lack of
even got them.
equipment.
Yeah. And it's also that you can't bring your bag in there, and then you got
Yeah.
to haul all your crap
I
in.
know I'm walking in there with both my hands full. I can't even like put it all in there. I don't know.
Yeah, it's wild. But it's either that or go to Athens Health and get hurt. That's what I'm doing.
Wait,
For
you're going
sure.
back there?
Yeah, I mean, while Ramsey was closed all break, and then had to figure it out. But for my heaviest squats, I went one at Ramsey, then I went up to DNA to lift the tone while we were there. But I guess we're kind of wrapping it up. We can get to these last questions that I'm going to ask like every athlete we bring on. So the first one is advice to a new lifter. You can kind of imagine. So you can even imagine your little brother if it helps. Like as he's getting into the sport, what advice are you giving to newer lifters to become successful enough to be going to Cnats, going to Nats, being top 5 in the state?
I would say, I mean, I know this is a pretty popular answer, but just not being too specific on your technique at first. I feel like getting into it, you just need to be like build a base level like movement pattern for the lifts and like actually being able to execute like top end weights pretty early and then being able to go in and like change things if you need to. And also just prioritizing your nutrition and all those external factors. Getting your steps in, sleeping right. Also, I would say getting a coach pretty early on is very beneficial, especially going into a meet. Having somebody there who's handling you makes the process just so much easier. I kind of got it pretty easy getting into the sport because Jazz took care of all of that for me. So
Yeah, I feel like she definitely, if she's not there, she has people at every meet to help out.
yeah,
I feel like
definitely.
I see her t-shirt on almost every meet.
Oh yeah.
But and then next question, some mistakes you made. What mistakes would you avoid that you made
Mm. Also
or
another thing I think
regrets?
is pretty popular is getting too emotional about how things are going at that moment. especially when you're like deep in like off season. If something doesn't move right, or if you didn't like how like a weight moved or felt, like getting too wrapped up in that can kind of lead to some bad training for a while. So for me, it's just being objective and picking weights that are right for the day was the biggest thing for me.
Feel that for sure. I'm gonna do one more technique tip. So pick one of the lifts and a
Okay.
technique tip that kind of changed it, a cue, moving your legs out wider, whatever it is on any of the lifts.
Personally for me on bench, I would say using your legs a lot more than you think you need to. I would say just for me, I like to be as tight as possible and pushing as hard back as possible is the biggest thing that's helped my bench. And like keeping constant like tension on my legs throughout the duration of the lift, even on like the descent, has been the biggest thing that has shot my bench up.
As soon as you said bench, I went and grabbed a pen and paper and I started writing all that down for sure. Yeah, but I mean, that's all I got for you here. Do you got anything else, Tony?
I definitely got some stuff, man. Uh, so I was gonna say, what are your plans at post Cnats? Like, do you have any idea after that, or?
I don't know. I've talked about maybe going Powerlifting America. That's still up in the air at the moment. Just depends on where everybody at the collegiate level is going. Dropping back down to 105. Other than that, just I really have no idea. I kind of take it day by day. I don't try to plan anything too far in the future.
Okay, yeah,
But
that's fair. Yeah, no, I'm I'm definitely victim of that, bro. I know what I'm doing like a year in advance. But no, I think that was about. I have a feeling I'm gonna like something's gonna pop up,
yeah,
but nah, I'm pretty sure that's about all I had.
yeah.
What about I know you say you don't like looking ahead too far, but like getting into the sport, being in powerlifting, what are like your dreams or aspirations to be? Like I told Avery as soon as we started, like he was coaching me, I was like, I gotta be top 5 in the weight class or my whole career was a failure. So once Bob, Ash, Keenan leave and then everyone leaves, I gotta stay, get top 5, and then I'll be good. But
Yeah.
what are like your dreams in the sport?
I would say dreams outside of like winning nationals, of course, would be like totaling 1,000 kilos, or I mean, for tested powerlifting, it's unrealistic, but like 1,000 pound deadlift would be like, not even that. Like anything over like 850, I would like that would be like a dream.
For you to say a
Just
thousand
like
pound deadlift so casually, what that would
no,
be
like I
crazy in my
don't
head.
think that's even like possible for the majority of the population. But anything over like 850 is where I'd be like, yeah, like I've made
Yeah,
it basically.
yeah, that would be crazy.
No, for sure. I definitely think you could
Ah,
do it, man. For sure. Because I mean, the way I also look at it, it's like by the time you get up to 850, like you're probably gonna want more anyways. Like
Yeah, yeah,
it's because I remember my like goal when I first started lifting, not even powerlifting, I just started lifting. And I like first did like 315. I wanted to hit a 675 deadlift. And I hit it or whatever, and like it's like not like it's like nowhere like where I want to go now, like
yeah.
now I have so much more I want to do. So
Yeah, I mean, I know my goals are a little, or not goals, but like dreams are a little lofty. But I think, even if I went up to like 125, those things could very much be possible. Maybe it would take a long time, but you know,
you got time,
but
bro.
850 deadlift, um, more like a 900 kilo total is more realistic, honestly. But yeah, that would probably be like lifetime dream goals, I guess.
Not for sure, bro. It's never too big, bro. I always tell everybody that. I think it's corny when people are like trying to sell themselves short just so they like look cool when they hit their little goal. Like you could be like, "Oh yeah, my lifetime goal is a 750 deadlift," and then you hit it, and it's like, I don't know. Yeah, I say, yo, if you have a dream, bro, go after it, go get it. Screw it.
appreciate you coming on. Very
Yeah,
nice
of
pod,
course.
nice and easy to do.
Of course.
Phenomenal.
Appreciate you having me on.
No problem.
We appreciate the
I-
insight.
anybody you want to plug your social media, shout out
Um,
any Classic City people if you want.
Shout out all of Classic City Powerlifting and Team Fueled. So Fuel Mafia.
All right. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.